Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. We have a guest tonight from Health Right 360, Robert Watson. We want to bring him on the show and ask some questions that the community can know about us long-time offenders coming home from prison. Uh, this man works closely with lifers coming home from prison, and just until last year, they had a mass kickout from the Department of Corrections, something that they wasn't ready for. So we want to bring Robert on and allow him to speak on Health Right 360. Welcome, Robert. Welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Wendell. Thank
Right, pleasure having you. I want to ask you a few questions about your job title,
Absolutely.
what you do, and just let the community know who you are.
Absolutely. So I'm what they call a care coordinator. I work with a local nonprofit called Health Right 360. And as a care coordinator, my main focus is substance abuse counseling, but I also do a lot of case management. And the program that I work for is an outpatient program. And we typically work with people that are transitioning from a residential program back into the community. And specifically, the population that I work with and have been working with for a little bit over a year are individuals coming right out of the California prison system. So I have a caseload of about 16 individuals at any given time who are ex-offenders re-entering society. And as of the last year or so, the majority of the population that I'm working with are long-term offenders. So these are former lifers, individuals that have been incarcerated for 20 plus years. And so that's basically who I've been working with one-on-one for a little over 12 months.
Okay. And I call us return citizens to the Bay Area.
That's right.
But the return citizens to the Bay Area, they coming from the Department of Corrections. They coming into Health Right 360. What programs do you offer long-term offenders coming home from prison?
So initially, what ends up happening and what I've seen the most is that these individuals are coming back and they're being required by parole to enter into a residential treatment program. So what a residential treatment program looks like is, I would say, majority substance abuse treatment. There's definitely a lot of life skills curriculum that is implemented in these kinds of residential programs. But for the most part, it is substance abuse focused. And that's kind of the main focus of the agency that I work for, at least right now.
Right.
But as you said, a lot of people weren't expecting this mass kickout.
Right. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I think that our agency and a lot of other agencies in the community, even in the Bay Area, where we have so many different resources, I think a lot of these programs weren't prepared for the amount of long-term offenders that were coming back, that are re-entering. So I think that there's a lot of really good curriculum that's in place right now, because some individuals that are coming back, even though they've been incarcerated for decades, initially went in with some sort of substance use issue. Right. All of them that I've worked with have been able to program and address those things while they've been incarcerated. So sometimes coming out to the residential program seems a little redundant, and it doesn't seem like they're really getting everything that they need at that time to have a successful reentry.
Right.
It seems like it's kind of the same old thing. It's the same old song and dance. They've been taking these kinds of these classes, self-help groups, doing 12-step programs, CBT, DBT, a lot of these different clinical approaches to addressing substance use. And I think that it kind of looks a little bit like overkill, honestly.
Right. I know. Me coming home, I went into a health right through City Wall when I was 890, and it was a program where I was kind of like shy going into it because I've done everything. I've been in prison 27 years. I came home, as a certified drug counselor, and I went into a program where it was like, well, what am I doing here? You know, I did all this time. I did 25 years in AA. You know, I did the whole thing, and then went to school and got certified as a certified drug alcohol counselor. So coming home to a program, and don't get me wrong now, Walden House Health Right 360 is an outstanding program. You know, it had things that I really did need. You know, I mean, it's you coming home and you're shocked to be gone for all these years. Then you got to regroup to society again. It's a lot of things that I really did need, and I give them kudos for that. You know, coming into the program as like you was my counselor. You know, and coming into the groups that we had, I got a lot out of those groups. You know, but coming home after a long period of times, we're the one that does the time. We rehabilitate ourselves.
Yes.
And we kind of like know what we want to do when we come home. You know, so when I get out, I came home wanting to do certain things, and I was like, stop, because you can't do it right now because other things that you have to do.
Right.
You know, so that was a block for me, but it was necessary because if I had taken off from the gate, I probably got lost. So Health Right 360 is a great help to people coming home from prison. You know, and like you say, coming home, they weren't ready. You know, they weren't ready.
No.
You know, for a big kick out like it was when I came home. We had a massive flood of people leaving prison. You know, but now we're on a road to where we can kind of get on the right track and give guys really what they need, because over a period of time, you guys have learned what we need. You know, and like I said, the lifers coming home, we have a program to where we know what we want. We know what we have to do to stay out here, and the majority of us do it.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know many lifers that have fallen since I've been home to go back. You know, so the job that you do is outstanding, and I give you kudos for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that I think there is a definite need when working with returning citizens that is sort of being met right now. And that is, and I think you touched upon this, and that is just kind of the whole nature of being socialized back into the community, right? Obviously, long-term offenders know very well what it's like to live with a lot of people around you and a lot of uncertainty and even safety concerns. I mean, those are things that you know, you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And transitioning back into the community, I think it's helpful that you know, like you said, you just go running from the gate, you know, and it kind of it's like a step down. The component that I oversee is in the outpatient program, but we have a contract to provide transitional housing to those individuals returning to the community, and the majority of them are former lifers, and then we have some that are not lifers. They might have gone in prison for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever it may be, and are transitioning back as well. And I feel like the transition period there, I mean, that's like another 90 days probably where people are allowed to live in the transitional housing. And I think that that's a great start, but it certainly is not the end-all, be-all of what it needs to be. I think there's much more of a need, especially, obviously, our community is suffering from a housing crisis right now.
Badly.
And there are individuals being pushed out of the Bay Area daily. You know, and so it can be very daunting to try and look for a place to live when you're still trying to acclimate to being back into the community.
The community, yes. The long-term offenders come home. What do you see their attitudes as far as reprogramming back into the communities?
You know, I'll say this, Wendell. I think if I could put one word on the attitudes of long-term offenders, it would be gratitude. I think that for me, the things that I have observed, my countless conversations with people coming back into the community, they're grateful, man. I've never seen so much joy and excitement and anticipation, hope, right? in any other individuals that I've ever worked with in this field. Really, I mean, it amazes me. I mean, there have been times where I've almost been in tears after sitting down in an individual session with someone that I'm working with, and they're telling me, where they've come from, what they've done, how far they've come, and how they feel about themselves at that moment. And it's just, it truly is a blessing. It's wonderful. I think that they are some of the most positive people that I've worked with, because many of them have told me that it's kind of like a clean slate.
Sure.
This is a fresh opportunity to do something, and find happiness, find peace. And that, for me, that seems to be a thread that has definitely run through all of my interactions with people that are coming back.
Right. Well, this is one of the reasons why I do this show, because when people commit the crimes, whatever crime it may be, some commit serious crimes than others, and they go to prison. A lot of people feel that they should throw the key away and they should never get out.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, that's true. I was on the other side. I live with people. In a lot of cases, that's true. A lot of them should never get out, right? But the mass majority of people that go to prison should have the opportunity to come back and get it right, give it another shot, and come home and be part of this society, because we come into programs after leaving prison as a Health Right 360, and we understand the transition that we started in prison. We come home, we continue the transition as we get out, and accept the things that we should accept out here.
Yeah.
It's really it's a job. It's a task going through the transition out here.
Yeah.
After a long period of time in prison.
Yes.
Listening to bells go off, you know what those bells are for. Listening to sirens go off, you know what those sirens are for. Hearing gunshots, you know what's going on. To come back and you walk down the street and you hear a car backfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't really know what's going on. So you have to readjust. You have to do I call it the debriefing back into society, and it's a job. So Health Right 360 kind of like gives us an out, to come in and sit in a class amongst women and men.
Yes.
Because on that side we're around a bunch of men,
Right. Women
and men, and sit in the room and hear the stories that we need to hear to transition back into society. So the job that you do, like I said, I commend you for it. I came home and you was my case manager, and you gave me a lot that I needed. Just sitting down in the room with the light on and at a desk, and you talking to me like I had sense, and it was good. So I commend you for that.
Thank you. I think it's really important to meet people where they're at, and to see people for more than one act in their life. I'm of the mind that people can change, and I'm also of the mind that people should not be judged for a single thing that they've done. They shouldn't be judged for 10 things that they've done, right? And it's about, looking at the whole of the person and the character. And like I said, I mean, I've never seen so much determination and gratitude, from any other group of individuals as I have from former lifers. I mean, it floors me sometimes. It really does. I mean, I'm very grateful to do what I do and work with the people that I work with. I mean, I would definitely like to see changes in the way that we're able to meet people where they're really at, because sometimes I feel that the services are not exactly what they should be, because while it is a sense of reintegration, we also need to provide services that are specific to the population, right? So these are things, and you brought up great examples of walking down the street and hearing a car backfire, and what kind of trigger is that? What does that do to somebody?
Exactly.
What do they think of? What is their reaction? How do they feel about that?
Exactly.
Right? And I mean, I'll tell you one example that I think I probably heard more than any other, and that is being on the bus in San Francisco,
Wow.
and how triggering that is
Yes.
for a lot of folks
Yes.
because of the noise and the uncertainty and just the sheer amount of people crammed
Yes.
into one space.
Yeah.
I mean, these are things that we need to be talking about. These are things that need to have a larger place
Right.
in how we serve this community.
Right. I know. I talk to a lot of guys that come home and they talk about the drug treatment programs that they have to go to, you know, and people are they complain about that. You know, "Hey, I'm going into a drug treatment program. I don't need this, and a lot of them really don't, because a lot of them don't use
Right.
anymore, opposed to how it was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. They don't use anymore. You know, so because they know if they use in prison, if you get caught for using in prison, well, you got 5 years to now.
Yeah.
You know, you got 10 years to now. You know, so they get to the point to where they stop using and they get something else other than using drugs or something in their body. They find something else to do. So coming home is something that they need to adapt to, coming back into the world, being part of society, being a citizen, law-abiding citizen, and not go to a drug program. But like I said, they have a lot of things in health right that's necessary, and I commend them for the work that they do. But we need to get something on the table for long-time offenders coming on too.
Yes.
So they can come in. Like you say, the housing in San Francisco is outrageous. You know, to find somewhere to live in San Francisco, it's slim to none. You know, so then you have to resort back to what you know.
Yeah.
You know, you got to find money to pay motel. You know, so you got to resort back to what you know. And then you're going back into that cycle again, following that revolving door. And we don't want that to happen. So we got to find something that's going to make it more easier for a person to stay focused on what they need to do, and stay part of this society. Because a lot of people going back, if they go back, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. So we got to make it to where they're comfortable coming back into this community and being part of it with somewhere to live after they leave.
Yes.
You know.
I agree. I think the housing piece is probably the biggest area that needs work.
Yes.
And it's not for lack of trying on the individual's part. It's more about a lack of availability.
Right.
You know, if it's just not there, it's not there. And that's really unfortunate, because I see the effort that people are putting into having a successful transition, and coming back and having the life that they want and they deserve, and being held up by not having a place to live. I mean, the ramifications for a former lifer not having housing can be pretty severe.
Sure. Sure it can.
Because one of the stipulations of parole is that you're housed somewhere.
Exactly. Somewhere.
Right? Somewhere.
Right.
And usually those options are not that great, and can actually even be dangerous. And there are examples of that in San Francisco with halfway houses for parolees and things of that nature in the neighborhoods that they're located in, very high crime areas. So I think that's probably the thing that needs to be fixed the most. But obviously, you kind of enter into this grander conversation about housing in the Bay Area and what that looks like for everybody. I recently myself had to move out of San Francisco because my wife and I couldn't afford it anymore. And it's sad that I can't even live in the community that I serve anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So I can only imagine what it must feel like for individuals coming back and they're from here. Right. Or they get jobs here and they start.
Can't live here.
Yeah, I mean, they start making a living and they don't have any place to stay, and that's a huge issue.
That's huge. But like I said, this is something that we have to. Being a part of this community and living here, I'm a native of San Francisco. I was born and raised there. I'm fortunate. I do have a home here in San Francisco. I don't have to leave. But a lot of people, they don't have that. They don't have that support system where they get out and they can live with a brother or a sister or a relative for a short period of time.
Yes.
But sooner or later they've got to leave. They got to find somewhere to live. So it's difficult, and we hope that we can work to a way where we can fix it. We're trying to build the tools that we can tweak it so we can fix it.
Yeah.
but it's an ongoing job, and you know, like I say, it takes a village. It's going to take a village to fix this problem.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you know, one of the shortfalls that I see in my own job is just the length of time that lifers are kind of given to figure all this out, right? And there's only so much work, especially when it comes to housing. There's only so much work that you can do in a 90-day transitional period, right? I mean, if anybody's familiar with what it's like to apply for housing in San Francisco, it takes a lot more than 90 days to get something.
Yes,
you know?
It does. Yes, it does.
And that's a problem. Yeah. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, they have all these programs now that they have where you can sign up for housing, Section 8, you know, different housing, the mayor's program for housing, all these programs. But these programs that they have, I don't see anything happening with them. They just have programs.
Yeah,
you it's because there isn't any housing.
It's like the programs themselves exist, but I don't see the fruits of the labor, so to speak.
At all. So I mean, it's good. They can form different programs, but like if you have a program, sooner or later you have to add something to the program so that people can see it happening.
Yes.
You know, and it's not happening right now. I know a few people that's in the process of trying to start transitional housing for long-time offenders coming home from prison, and it's coming along pretty good for them. You know, things are we're gonna see it transform relatively soon. You know, because they know what's needed.
Right.
You know, for a long-time offender coming home. So, like I say, it takes a village, and we have people that's throwing in different bricks to try to build this village, and it's working. But we have to continue doing what we're doing as far as people coming home, going to Health Right 360. 111 Taylor, different places in that form. We have to continue working with what we have to work with.
Yeah.
You know, so Health Right, we give you guys kuju.
Oh,
we commend you because like I said, when I came home, I had to go to Health Right 360, and I didn't want to be there coming home.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to be there. I complained.
Makes sense.
You know, I was like a pickup on the gate holler, you know, that I'm not supposed to be here. But when I went in, I saw that this is somewhere where I really should be coming home because I had to regroup.
Yeah.
You know, after being gone for 27 years, everything's changed. They got a brand new ballpark, Levi Stadium, brand new bridge. Everything's changed, you know. And I had to readapt to walking down the street, walking down Market Street, and not being in fear of things happening.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to adjust to being back in San Francisco, and I did, and it worked out pretty good. So, but we want to bring you back, you know, in some months.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
because like I said, things are going to change, and we want to get your feedback on the things that have changed, and we want to let society know that we are a part of this San Francisco community. You know, we're back. You know, we're back in the city, and we're going to be here. Some of us went to prison for bad crimes. You know, they've done the time for it. They're back. You know, they rehabilitate themselves as being part of the city and county of San Francisco. And give them opportunity, give them a chance, to be part of this society.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that I don't think anybody will be disappointed.
Right on.
I swear it, because like I said, I've seen and had the opportunity and the pleasure and the honor to meet some of the brightest and most dedicated individuals, you know, that are reentering, and I want to do my part to ensure that those individuals can receive the best services that they can, you know, and whether that comes from providing direct services or advocacy or whatever it may be. You know, I'm always willing to lend a hand because, you know, I really do believe in this population, and I mean, I know that on any given day, I'm walking down the street, and there's probably a long-term offender, ex-lifer, on that block with me, and They don't stick out.
Right.
They don't
Right.
do anything
you
that
don't even
anybody
know.
else wouldn't do.
Right. You don't even know. Yeah.
These are businessmen. These are laborers. These are people that are preparing our food, and they're driving our cars, and they're helping us fill out taxes. I mean, these are very talented and also very educated men and women that are out there in the community, and they're doing their part. And I think it's only fair that we do ours, just to make that transition successful, right? To just smooth it out a little bit.
Moving out. Right, right. Well, we want to thank you for coming on the show this evening. We need people to come on that's part of this community and let people know, who they're dealing with, who they're seeing every day. And we thank you for coming on, giving your input on the long-time offenders coming home. I call them return citizens coming home after long periods of time, and taking part of this society, community in San Francisco. So we commend you for coming on, and we're going to bring you back in some months to give us some more feedback on the long-time offenders. So we want to thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you, Wendell. I really appreciate it.
Right on. Thank you, Robert.